Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Plant Nomads. Now, I have not done that much more with the growing area, the new garden setup, the farm setup, because I'm still not sure how I want to approach the interior production area. So instead, today, what we're going to work on is we're going to start building out the new water purification plant and basically free up a lot of water production for making a lot of deuterium. I've already built the framework down to just above the surface level, which should give me enough for it to, let me expand off of this. And then once I have expanded out the way I want, then I just, will put some extra struts in there because I don't want it connected this way. I want it connected a different way, and we'll have to be very cautious initially with the placement because I've only got so much range for that item dispenser. So no floating foundations, just gonna start with a basic framework of this, a grid, because I want to see how compact I can place everything. Let me see, there we go. So the idea is I want to have kind of a circular pattern to it. So it's going to be a question of how I can place each of these in terms of the connection for the conveyors. And once I get that set up, I'm just going to stack them straight up, floor after floor like that. So really it's a matter of finding that starting point and then building out from there. So if I place one along the front row, I can't place it there basically because it's acting like it intersects with this. I mean, I could get it, I could get it there further out, but it's the problem of I want to have this as kind of where the walkway comes in, because that is the one that drops down from below or from above. It's the line up from up there. So this is going to be where I walk in basically, and I've got to have it structure off this. So I'm thinking we're going to end up going with something that comes out this way a bit more than that. So I decided to just build down a little bit with some conveyors and an item dispenser to make this a little bit easier because I started to get out of range. But you can see I've got it pretty much set up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now, which will give me 4 more on the other side. So 9 per floor, which is pretty good. And it should be when I walk in on a floor, I can walk in, look around, I see all this, and then I'll have like a drop down here. I just fly straight down using the jetpack, and it gives a nice open feel to it. But it also means I get a very close proximity along the outer side of it. And it's not a perfect circle, of course, but it is close, and it gives a very nice look. So once I clean up all the cosmetic aspect on the outside, I'll be able to do a good bit with this in terms of maybe some kind of framework that goes around it. And it's really just going to be a case of once that's done, I build up, say, another stack above this. So I put like another one right on top, and that's that floor. And then the next floor, I put the same conveyor set up there, and then stack 2 more and just keep going up. Hopefully that will line up to the right spot. If not, I'll readjust everything around that, because I do want to have this where it's a walk-in on an even floor count, and that could end up being a problem in the end, but I'm hoping it won't be. So there's the first floor layout, basically. So I do have some extraneous spots here I could take out, which I mean, I may leave something like that sticking out. I'm thinking I probably won't. I'll probably keep it where it's, if I have to, I'll build some kind of, single blocks that come out along that and just clean it up as much as I can so it doesn't look all weird. And I'm going to leave it where most of this is visibly open. I want to have it where when you fly past on the jetpack, on a vehicle, whatever, you see that main part of it, everything just all the way up, big glass tower. And so now the next part is of course going to be tying in any water production, which won't be difficult. It's just really picking the spot to have it. I think I'm just going to do a framework linking across here, across there, and then down along that way on each side. So I'll have a framework there going along that way, probably a framework here, and maybe even just go straight across the middle. The fun part's going to be targeting everything while staying hovering above the water level. And here we go. I have made all of the outside spots into water collectors. So you see I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. Oh, 9. So the 9 matching with the 9 autonomous water purifiers on each level. And then I added along the trunk here, instead of just having one long trunk, of course, I added one here because I had to have a connection there anyway. And that gives an extra connection to the flooring, so it won't be a problem if something breaks. It shouldn't drop the entire conveyor system. And then I have that 9 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. So 13 water collectors. So that is if I do 2 stacks high on each floor. I put a little piece for the next floor to connect, and then I end up with this that's off just a little bit. So I don't want to do every single floor because that's a lot of extra floor space for a very short ceiling on each one. I kind of like the idea of a larger open ceiling. You come in, you're not just sitting here with a ceiling right here, but you're looking up and seeing the ceiling there. Maybe I could even do it there. That might help. Okay, I think I've got it. I did try this and it seemed to line up except for a mismatch on the count between each floor. But basically do 2 high of the purifiers and then do a double stack for a thicker looking floor on each level. And then 2 high there. You know, the purifiers really are kind of difficult to place right. That. And there we go. Worst case, I have it do a step down, which is fine. And that way it just, you walk down one little step into this. Let's see, there's, yeah, we got like that little thing. I might can make that work some way for it or something like that. I can find a way to make that work. And that way I end up with a stack that is even all the way across. I do another, you know, stack up of 2 and I can just keep going. And that gives me right there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's going to be even numbers. So I'll have to redo something with the water collectors down below. But that's easy to do later before I connect everything in through the trunk. And fortunately, this is already dropped down. So once this is built up to this point and connects here, I might build a whole structure going down to the front face of it to give more of a connection to the platform here. And then of course I've got to go back and make support struts because I like the way that looks. So yeah, this is basically how each floor will look. Put like a light there, a light there, and a light there. There too, you know, cover everything. And basically then I just have to seal this up and figure out how I'm going to do the walls on, you know, the outside framework. Again, I want to have it where it's kind of enclosed to a certain degree. Of course, we'll have stuff where, you know, like on this corner here, I have something that kind of goes up to the next floor as a, you know, lining frame. But that's all cosmetic stuff. And I am still nowhere near where I would like to be on the cosmetics work. So I am going to really have to play with that a bit first and figure out how I want it set up and then go from there on that. But you see, I've got it laid out the same way. And really all I have to do is once I do the framework on it is just replicate it again on a second level. And then it's done for each floor. So I've got the corner done like that. It's funny, it just destroyed that block instead of the one I was really targeting. But I could also do something like this in a way. Make it come out like this. Yeah, that, ooh. Take that out. If I do it that way, then we have that corner. It does that, and then I take this entire row out on each side. We get this. And then the problem is getting it to go all the way up on it and look right. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? And of course, part of this is to make sure it can be enclosed up to at least that point. So yeah, part of this is going to be experimenting with what I can do on this side as well, because I need it to be blocked off like that is. I want it to have an enclosure look to each level. So when you're looking at it, you're not even seeing so much of the actual enclosure itself. You're going to see that going up to here and up, and then here we'll do the same thing coming down with an enclosure around the top that hides a little bit of the flooring in a way. And then of course we'll have the connection up here, and at spots like this I'll have to do something that actually connects across the same way. And of course that's not going to work. I'd have to bring it out that way and have a much longer section there. This is gonna take a lot of play testing to get this to work the way I want it to. So with this corner, I actually closed it up already on one side and decided I don't need that extra block in there. I just need this right here going along the bracing like I've done on the others. And instead, I'm actually going to cut out one block. Ooh, actually that might need to stay right there like that. I might have to do something. I want to do some filler on each floor as well in between where they sit. But what I'll do is I'll have that, and then I'm just going to go corner like this across there, which really means I don't need this as long as that encloses well enough that it's not showing any seams really, which, oh yeah, that works. So, oh, well, I still have that. So it's really, if I go up with these, I can leave an opening there. Basically gives me a spot maybe to run some separate conveyors. Yeah, no, it still would benefit from having that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to enclose it all the way across anyway, just so I get that cleaner look I want. And so now to hide the corners of that, the sides, I can just do this all the way up. And yeah, that will leave me a gap there. I could come back and enclose a conveyor system there instead of having it go out. It's just going to be a matter of where I connect it in, and that will give, I mean, it's going to be more of a pain to do maintenance on in the long run, but once this is set up and that connects to the parts below, it shouldn't really need much maintenance work unless I decide to redo the whole thing, and that would give a very nice hidden enclosure around or hidden conveyor system. So it's not going to be as visible, but it's there and it works. So looking down at it, I think that's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to end up putting a conveyor system into this little opening on both sides. So it'll connect in from two trunks. So if something ever gets messed up on one side, I'll have it connecting down below, which will work great. And then I'll just, yeah, once I get to that point up here, I'll just take this whole trunk out, build that down, and done. And I'll add, like, off of one of the spots below the item dispenser, so I have it there. And then I'll still have the one here. And that should give me enough coverage range in this area for building and working in the design. Now that I've got this cleared out, you can see just how much I've pruned back and done custom flooring work along that. And yet in the middle, everything still looks the same. And yeah, that looks nice. So really, it'd be a case of, oh, okay, I'm walking in, I've got a whole floor filled with stuff, walk over here, let me drop down, and bam, there we go. Nice landing, whichever floor I want to go on, and I have this, and eventually all of it is sealed in. You won't see any of that. You'll just see a nice enclosed area, and oh, I'm gonna have to enclose that better. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of testing with this, just tweaking it to get the first floor level done right, and then all I should have to do is basically do a top down look at it to say, okay, what did I do on the outside areas along here, build it, get everything done, and then once the second floor is done cosmetically, I'm going to build a third and a fourth. I'm just going to basically get everything done cosmetic wise before I add back in all of the water purifiers for all of the floors. So that way at least I can see it better. And I know what I want to do with this. I've got that vision in my head right now. I kind of got lost on that side, going between ideas. But I've actually got this working decently, I would say. It's just a matter of fine-tuning everything. And when it's done, it's going to look pretty good, I would say. I don't think I'm going to stick with just the black frame all the way around. I'll probably come back and do some recoloring once I'm done with the basic structure. But really, I want to highlight the purifiers themselves so you see as much as you can of that. And with the light coming from inside, I think that's going to look really good. And I'm going to probably do the power an interesting way, where I'm going to have a power trunk coming down just for the water purifiers below, and another power trunk that comes along for the lights on each floor. And so I'll have an outside one for the water purifiers, and inside on each floor will be one for lights, so I could turn on and off all the lights from outside. So if I want to have it where it's not lit up, because I'm not in it at the moment, I have the lights off, but the water processing is still being done. And then I'm like, oh, I'm here, I want to turn on lights, click, bam, the lights are on. You know, it'd been nice if we just had light switch type thing, but I'm going to make something similar to that sort of mechanic. So that's going to be it for this episode of Plant Nomads. Pretty much once I get the cosmetics figured out on the lowest level, it's really just going to be replicating it. And even doing that is going to be time consuming. I see this being a few more hours of work at the least, just to get this all set up the way I want it to, looking the way I want. And then, of course, going back, adding in all the conveyor connections, getting everything tied in the right way. But once it's done, it is going to look pretty good, I think. It's going to be really functional. I mean, that's going to be a lot of water production, way more than I would really need. But hey, go big or go home. That's what I'm going to do. Same thing with the farming area, going way beyond what I actually will need and will make good use of. So we're just going to have so much purified water, so much going on with that really, if I run out of room, I just turn off the water purifiers and leave it for a little while. But I will have tons of power, never running out, basically never needing uranium either at this point, and continuing to do solar panels and stuff. And I'm going to continue play testing with other ideas, working on things that I can use towards, of course, a mobile base, and eventually we'll have a mobile base going. Right now, I want to keep working on the base itself, and this is what I've got figured out in my head so far. So we're still going to be doing this for a little bit, but we'll, of course, keep coming back here and there to working on a mobile base design. But like I said, that's it for this episode of Plant Nomads. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment below, and hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Spicy. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to keep it spicy this week, and I will see you in the next video.